Hello friends, my name is String. I am a researcher currently based in DC. Today I want to share with you my experience in time management with a timetable. Some of you may have been in this situation before. You know that feeling when you're constantly running out of time and you feel like you cannot keep up with everything. For me personally, it was 2 months ago when I began taking some online courses that required a lot of time commitment. I knew that I needed a system to make this all work and take the courses seriously. And that's when I discovered the power of a timetable. And after 2 months, I am so excited to share with you all the results that I've got. But before we dive into that, let me quickly explain how I adopted this life-changing practice. My philosophy is very simple: to create a timetable that's tailored to my needs and keep it as straightforward as possible. To do that, I try to closely mirror my existing routine by documenting what I would do on a typical day, from working to sleeping, eating and working out, and so on. After that, I evaluated my task flow to see if I could rearrange or optimize any of them to make room for my courses. Moving on, the next step is to set up alerts and alarms on every device that I own. And yes, I did feel like I was in a military operation, but these reminders were crucial, was very crucial adjustment phase. And the last step, also the secret sauce of my process, is the weekly timetable review and update to make necessary adjustments. What I mean is that, for example, if I feel resistant or if I feel that I need to rush through something, I would schedule extra time for that task or break it into smaller ones. Now let's talk about the results. By now, it's clear that I could make time for my courses, and I'm so glad that I was able to make it happen. But on top of that, the effect of a timetable on my productivity was huge. I know that this sounds very obvious, but having a timetable helps me to get more done and use my time more intentionally. Previously, more often than I would like to admit, I set to myself a lot of goals and priorities that often stayed untouched for months, if not years, in a drawer somewhere in my place. It was all too easy for me to prioritize urgent matters over those long-term aspirations. And that's where the beauty of a timetable shines. The beauty of a timetable lies in its ability to put goals and priorities in perspectives and help me set aside time for them every day. And the outcome is a beautiful positive feedback loop. The more time I invest in working toward my goals and priorities, the clearer they become and the more motivation I have. I also have more fun with my time. In my definition, there are 2 types of fun: fun and hard fun. Fun is all about enjoying your time with your favorite activities, like hanging out with friends or spending time on your hobbies. For the fun tasks on my timetable, I enjoy them so much that when it comes to the end of the section and I need to move on to do something else, I already look forward to the next section, which boosts motivation. On the other hand, for the hard fun, it refers to something that feels exhausting, frustrating, or even miserable in the process. But once completed and looking back, I find satisfaction and I think to myself, oh, it was fun. Think of it as hiking, working out, or writing a paper, or debugging my codes. For the hard fun task, I have an easier time with them because they are on schedule and they become habits over time. I can mentally and physically prepare myself better. And yes, sometimes I still have the urge to procrastinate when it comes to hard fun tasks. But I know that my future self will look back with pride and consider that it was a fun experience. And imagining my future self being happy already make my current self happier with the challenging task in front of me. I also noticed a significant improvement in my physical and mental health. What I mean by that is that more often than I would like to admit, sleep and exercise are the biggest and the first casualties on my agenda when unexpected things come up. With a timetable in place, I have a better understanding of priorities and how long tasks actually take to complete. I am still a beginner in efficient planning, but the times where I had to sacrifice my sleep or my workout were reduced by at least 80%, which is amazing. And plus, more efficient planning means less stress and anxiety over last-minute deadlines. Another surprising result of having a timetable is that I can connect with people on a deeper level. I know it sounds very unrelated, but let me explain. Because I'm so new to the whole timetable thing, it was so strange to me to live my life hour by hour with everything all planned out. So I went through phases where I either loved it or struggled quite a bit. And timetable somehow took up a lot of space in my mind. So I started to talk to people around me about it and shared with them my experience. To my surprise, I realized that this is a topic that is actually on many people's mind. Some people around me use timetables, some don't, but most of them share the same problem of a constant lack of time. So they started to share their story and their experiences too. And since this is not the topic that you typically chat about every day, the topics of the conversation become a whole lot more diverse and interesting. And I really appreciate the new ideas that I learned from the chat. And it's also a very comforting feeling when I know that I'm not alone on this time management journey. For me, a timetable is an effective time management tool. If you are still wondering whether you should have one, I genuinely recommend you give it a try. In my next video, I'll be talking about the mistakes and lessons I've learned along the way. We'll discuss whether having a timetable means that you have to sacrifice spontaneity and whether a timetable is suitable for you if you do not live alone and your agenda depends on others. I'll provide tips so that hopefully you can have a better experience. You can also share with me your stories and experiences in the chat so we can all learn from each other. So that's it for now. Let's wish us all the best on our journey. Thank you for hanging out with me and see you in the next video.